Welcome to the Dude Facts Podcast. Four guys united by their love for coffee and corny jokes come together to talk about Christian culture and the ups and downs of ministry. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of Joe, and enjoy. The podcast starts now. Affirmative. All right, hey friends, welcome to the Dude Facts Podcast. We're glad to have you with us today. This is episode number 3. If you've made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back. We're proud of you. My name is Josh, and I'm here with my friends, as always, Jeff, Grant, and Ryan. And we are especially pleased today to have our very first special guest on with us. This person has not yet watched one of our podcasts or listened to them, which is why he agreed to come on. He goes by M. Willie, Mixmaster Mikey Mike, but his stage name when he's leading worship is Michael Scott Williams. Welcome to the podcast, Mike. We're glad to have you.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. What an honor to be the first guest.
It is an honor.
It is.
You're sitting in a pretty cool room there, big drum set behind you.
Oh yeah. It's where the magic happens.
Way cooler than any of our backgrounds.
Is that the Gremlins I see back there, Jeff?
It is Gremlins, and I got a Lego Seinfeld.
Nice.
Trying to rep a little bit, some interesting stuff, but it can't match yours, Mike. That's just way cooler.
Well, this is just the good side. If you could see the rest of it, you would not say that. You would not say that.
Yeah, I just have like pictures of Puerto Rico here, and then a window. So mine's not very exciting, but I am glad to see that Grant's not in his garage this week.
Yeah,
I do have Bob.
It's true. Erica let me in the house today.
Grant was the only one who patted himself on the back, Josh, when you said, if you've listened to all of our episodes, pat yourself on the back. So have we not even listened to our own episodes? That's pretty sad.
I actually did. I did.
Mike, have you made it through both?
I did. Made it through.
So,
Trudged right
so
through.
you made it more than 11 minutes on the first episode?
Yes, I had to. Yeah, I stopped for a brief break, and then I came back. In the second one, I listened to the first one straight through.
Yeah, it's best if you take us in small doses.
At what point did you realize you needed a break in episode number 2?
When I got to work.
Probably 3 minutes in.
What was Grant saying when you realized you needed a break?
Is that the whole whittle wiggle controversy?
It was right around that time.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
It may have been when he talked about his cleaning practices for his rear end.
Ooh, yeah.
They're immaculate.
That was right off the bat, I think, last week.
It was. So speaking of, how long people listen, so I have an update for episode 2. So episode 1, we had like 120 something views up to this point. So super viral. Yes. But the average listen was only like 11 minutes. So episode 2, we haven't had as many views as episode 1 had at this point, but the average listening time has increased by 4%. So it's like 19 minutes now. So, they're sticking around longer.
Give it time.
Slowly.
You said by
we'll get
4%?
Yeah, it tells me that like people listen to like 14% of the recording on average for the first episode. Then it said something like 18 or 19% for the second episode.
Okay. Do you know how many people have listened to it on Spotify? Because I wonder if our YouTube listeners / watchers are just opting for Spotify.
Yeah, I haven't looked up this last. Did you just throw your cat?
No,
that's very catastrophic.
I threw Erica's cat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to look it up and see what this last one was.
If you're listening on YouTube right now, could you comment, "I'm listening on YouTube," so we'll know that you listened on YouTube?
There you go. And you can't comment on Spotify, so you got to get over to YouTube.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're listening to it on Spotify, just go to YouTube and comment
Yeah,
that you
comment.
listen to it on Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also listen to it all the way on YouTube as well to get our listen
Yes.
percentage
We need to
up.
get our
Even if it's on in the background while you're in another room.
Yeah.
That's right. And just put it
While
on
you're
loop.
asleep.
Just put it on loop. So it keeps
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Repeat.
Let us
I have a
talk to
computer
you
in
while
my
you're
office.
sleeping.
We're not supposed to talk to people while they're sleeping.
I said, let us talk to you while you're sleeping. It'll be
Okay, yeah.
my pleasure. You have to
Do a
listen to
sleep
last
sounds
episode
tape.
to get that.
Or we could just have like a tape of Grant telling his jokes in like a very soothing voice, and then your brain won't really know what to do. Try
Do
relax.
you want me to try one?
I think we've just
Punch
brainstormed a segment. This needs to be a segment on the show. Grant tells corny jokes to soothing music.
Well,
Have I told you the moth joke yet?
Do you have any soothing music, Josh?
I don't have any soothing music, unfortunately.
I'm thinking some Christopher Cross sailing or something.
Oh gosh.
You know what? We can come up with that though. I believe it may take just a second. So we should talk about something else.
Okay.
Hey, the Super Bowl is this weekend.
It is.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Of course, this is airing Monday, so it's after the Super Bowl.
Can you believe that the Chiefs won, guys?
No, because the Eagles did.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
We got a
In that
50-50
score?
shot, right?
I'm glad they had so much fun.
So many balls flying around.
Really? How many?
I lost count. But if it was a prop bet, I probably would know.
Ah. Well, speaking of prop bets,
You guys making any prop bets, by the way? I mean, we're not supposed to gamble as Christians, but yeah. I mean, just for fun. You guessing about
Anybody gambling for fun?
any of the prop bets out there? Have you heard about some of the weird ones? So they do like, what color will Greg Olson, the announcer, like what color will his tie be? Who will be the first team to score? Will the coin toss be heads or tails? Will there be a reference to the wardrobe malfunction? Or Tom Brady's retirement? Or will Donald Trump show up in the crowd? Or will Manning brother be there? To like what color of Gatorade will be dumped on the winning coach? They do all this, and people actually will place bets on it, in addition to like game stats and all that stuff too. But I guess just to make the Super Bowl a little bit more fun and watchable to those maybe casual sports fans, or maybe those people that aren't sports fans, but they watch the Super Bowl every year because they're forced to go to these parties.
I think that's fun though. It makes you pay attention to the game in maybe a little different way. Especially if there's two teams you don't really care for, like if it were the Chiefs and the Eagles playing.
There's also a bet of, will the national anthem, Chris Stapleton is doing it, will it be more than 2 minutes and 5 seconds or less than 2 minutes and 5 seconds? So we have not seen the Super Bowl yet, but maybe we should just all guess here if it's going to go over or under. And then by the time Monday rolls around, we'll know who won. And as people are listening to this, they can comment and say, oh, yeah, these are the people who won and these are the losers. So any guesses?
I feel like I should answer this one last, and you'll hear why last.
So for some point of reference, like how long should it take to sing the national anthem?
All stanzas, or what they would sing for normal games?
Just what they would sing, a normal person singing it
Okay.
normally. Mike, do you know the answer to this? You're a music guy.
Not off the top of my head. I would guess like a minute and a half, but I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I can Google.
Well, I feel like Chris Stapleton likes to belt them out, so he'll probably add some extra seconds on there. He'll probably go over.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'd think Southern people too. We're kind of all laid back and talk a little slower and sing
It's
a little
true.
slower. So I'm willing to bet it's going to be over the 2 minutes and 5 seconds too. He's gonna add a little Southern pizzazz to this,
I would agree with Jeff. It's going to go long.
So actually, the average time of the Super Bowl national anthem is 1 minute and 43 seconds.
I was close.
But there have been people that have gone as long as 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That was Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh.
So yeah.
I'm not really good at guessing because I don't listen to him, so I wouldn't really know. I'm just going to be honest.
How long did it take Carl Lewis to sing the national anthem? Maybe it's like, is it similar to that?
I mean, if you're going by how long it seemed to the average listener, probably like an hour.
Like centuries.
Well, Jeff, you beat me to the line. I'm the only one of us not in the South. I know the largest part of our listener base is in the South, so I didn't want to seem offensive. But everything seems to take a little longer in the South.
Mm-hmm.
You tossing extra syllables all over the place.
Rockets,
paying.
red glare.
Take a swig
Well,
of
'cause
sweet
we would say
tea.
Glare. Someone might say glayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Paying.
so who's saying it's going to take longer?
Oh,
So yeah,
Jeff, Mike,
I'm just going
Grant,
for it.
Ryan, are you saying it's going to take longer?
yeah.
All right, I'll say
On a
it won't
longer
take as
train.
long. I'll
Oh.
go the other way.
You're playing the law of averages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
That's good
Okay,
odds.
what's,
It's going to be good return on that bet.
Oh yeah. Winner gets a bunch of pizza.
All right. Sounds good. So, is there another interesting prop bet there?
Other than like what will be the first product advertised like after kickoff, what color will the first outfit that Rihanna will wear during the halftime show? I mean, there's all kinds of just random ones.
I think we should have
the Kelsey brothers are both in it, and their mom always wears like a split team jersey. So there's a prop bet out there, like which team's logo will be on the left side of Mama Kelsey. So
wow.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, speaking of Rihanna, I think we should just with our group have a little prop bet here of will her hair look like Cindy Lou Who during the halftime performance like it does in the ads.
We can only hope.
I'm hoping. So I'm voting yes.
I need some
She got the same
comedy.
stylist, right? That's
Yeah, I think the same stylist. She must have gone to Whoville to get her hair done.
yeah, right.
So when that ad first came out, I kept looking at her hair. I'm like, what does that remind me of? Like, I've seen this. And then it just hit, a few days later, it looks like Cindy Lou Who. Like she should have been in The Grinch.
You know what it reminded me of? Remember when Prince changed his name to a symbol?
Yeah.
It
does
looked
look
like
like
the symbol. That
The symbol for Prince.
The artist formerly known as Prince went by.
That's true. Hey, I've got some, so we probably can't play like stuff from like Christopher Cross just because YouTube would probably take our video down. So I have some royalty-free chill music here. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. So, but Grant, do you have a joke ready that you can tell? And we're gonna test drive this segment. Jeff, what were we calling it?
I don't know. Do we have a name for it?
Gentle jokes.
Sensual dad jokes with Grant.
Oh.
all right, Mr. Wiggle on Grandpa's knee.
Words that should never go together.
Maybe we'll come up with a name, or our listeners can comment and give us some ideas there. And okay, and this is a good time just to say it. If you're listening right now, which you would be if you're hearing this, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. We'd love to hear from you. And Grant, are you ready?
Yeah, I have a cat hair in my mouth from tossing Erica's cat, but I'm ready.
Let's see what this sounds like here.
Ooh, yeah. A moth goes to a podiatrist's office. And the podiatrist says, "How can I help you?" And the moth says, "Well, my wife just left me. None of my kids respect me. And I have all this trauma from my time at the war." The podiatrist says, "I'm so sorry. That sounds terrible. But in my opinion, I think you could benefit more from a psychologist or a psychiatrist." The moth says, "I completely agree with you." So the podiatrist says, "Then why are you here?" To which the moth responds, "Your light was on."
Well done.
Oh,
Thank you.
I almost fell asleep.
Yeah,
I think we're onto something with that
that
segment.
music was just right, man. It was just right.
It was
That
just
was
right. It kind of
very
hit a groove there.
Now, to be fair, that's an old Norm Macdonald joke.
I think we can just let this play the rest of the podcast.
this is in the background.
Welcome to the podcast. It's our
My pleasure.
You
Oh,
have to
well.
say the jokes kind of like that too. I mean, you have to like be real breathy and whisper them.
I feel like when that type of music's playing, it's like, you know, it's natural. That's how you like will naturally speak when that type of music's going.
That's right. Hey, so speaking of things that are creepy, what about this Chinese balloon thing? I mean, now by the time people listen to this, it's like a week later, but did it fly over? Grant, did it come over your house?
I don't know. I was curious.
I mean, I don't think we knew anything about it till it was over Montana.
All I know is I flew out of South Carolina just hours before they shot it down over South Carolina. So a little disappointed I missed that, but we probably passed it in the airplane on the way back home.
Yeah.
It
I wonder if. Oh, here we go.
Did you find
I
something?
found its path. Yeah, I found its path. It looks like it went from like Alaska through British Columbia and then came through Montana. Yeah, it missed me.
Oh well.
Mm.
Oh, well.
Maybe next time.
It flew right over Clarksville though.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about it was when you know the U.S. shot it down, then China was like, "Dude, what are you doing with my balloon?" Like,
What are you doing with my balloon? You
What are you,
remember
a
the
kid at
first
the fair?
Batman with Michael Keaton? And Michael Keaton's in like the Bat Jet and he steals all the Joker's balloons. And Jack Nicholson freaks out and he's like, "He stole my balloons!" And then he just shoots one of his henchmen. That's what I imagine happened in China.
yeah.
Like the president was just angry. He's like, "They shot down my balloon," and he just took out a gun and shot one of his associates or something.
Gosh.
Goodness.
There have been some pretty great memes that have come out of this, though. I like the one that said it's not a baroon.
Oh gosh.
Let's get all of it. I shared some with you guys. They were. It's funny though how something like that, our culture right now will quickly take. Like instead of being like, "Hey, what is going on here?" Like, okay, how can we make this into a meme? You know, we're not scared, we're not worried. We're like, okay.
I feel like it's one of the things with our culture where like people just lean into the absurdity of all these things that happen around us. They're like, you know what? Let's just go with it. It's going to happen anyways.
China's going to own us one day. Let's just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Well, you have two extremes. You have the meme makers and those who enjoy them, and then you have the old grandpas out there that are like freaking out. And not only that, they're using it as a platform to then attack other things. So I laughed every time I saw the people saying, "Well, you shouldn't be worried about the Chinese balloon because your kids are on that dang TikTok and the Chinese are spying on us through TikTok." I'm like, if the Chinese are watching young girls do dances to Meghan Trainor, then by all means, let them. I mean, if that's what they want to spy on, go for it. But I'm not worried about it. I don't know.
Valuable
Maybe I should be.
intel was teenagers dancing to Meghan Trainor.
Well, it's like people who are freaking out about the COVID vaccine that, you know, they're implanting tracking devices. Yeah, like we don't have someone listening to us 24/7 in our pockets.
Oh, really?
I mean,
It's like
we're
that one-
long past that.
It's like that tweet. Someone's like, "Yeah, my dad realized that his phone was listening to him, so he started whispering the names of power tools into mom's phone around Christmas time." Like, yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny though because there were people that I follow on social that started just saying this balloon is terrible. I can't believe we're not doing anything about it. And then 6 hours later, it was I can't believe people are so worried about the balloon when we have TikTok on our phones. It was the same people doing that.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, and I do think the balloon might pose a bigger problem than TikTok, because I don't know what they're getting. If they're seeing my face while I'm watching, there's I don't know whatever is on there, or they're taking pictures of our nuclear missile silos. One's probably more important than the other. That's just me.
And it's your face.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm just thinking they could have saved millions of dollars and manpower by just getting on Google Earth and looking at it. I mean, why did they not just do that?
Like Google built a whole utility. You can see the entire Earth.
Come on, it's on the internet, which is free. Come on. Or maybe it's not in China. I don't know.
You can even zoom into street views. It's
well, because I was looking at the flight path, and I know, like, it seems to have missed, like, maybe Fort Knox area, but it kind of flew over where a base is in Tennessee, and there's a couple bases in the coastal Carolinas. But yeah, what are they finding out about Nebraska? Just corn.
Well, that's where all the nuclear missiles are.
Yeah.
In those
in the
fields.
corn.
Any cornfields.
There's just the person monitoring the balloon in China was like, "Yep, that's corn."
And then the corn song came on TikTok. At the same time.
It has juice. Yeah, we saw a bumper sticker when we were driving out. And when we moved to Washington, it was like, Nebraska, where you watch your dog run away for days.
That's where flat earthers come from, right? Nebraska.
I get it.
Yeah, it's flat. Come on.
Well, I hope the Chinese got some good video.
Yeah.
And as they came over Clarksville, Mike, I hope you waved, and well, Jeff and Ryan as well, all three guys there.
I never saw it.
Next time I will plan something.
Do I?
Yeah.
But next time I'll plan something.
I know,
I'll cut a message into my lawn or something.
Then they gotta let us know next time. That way we can get something going for them.
I mean, it's not like when the Google car comes around and you kind of know what their path is going to be, and you can get out there and get on those pictures. But if you can make it to the Chinese spy balloon, I mean, that would just be epic.
Oh yeah.
Would they be more afraid of us or less afraid of us? If they saw what pranks we'd pull on their camera.
They probably think they're already doomed, but leave them alone.
They're not as intelligent as they think they are.
Do you guys watch Brian Regan, or have you ever watched Brian Regan, the comedian?
Oh yeah.
He's got this one bit where he talks about, it's kind of reverse here what we're talking about, but kind of the search for intelligent life. And he's like, what if we land on a planet and the aliens are like, or whatever, and they're like, get back on the spaceship. I mean, that could happen here. The Chinese may think they're looking for some sort of intelligence. And like, what do we expect? They're all watching TikTok.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess speaking of current events, today are not the day that the episode is coming out, but the day that we're recording is a very important day here in the United States of America, National Pizza Day.
Yeah.
Can we just have a moment of silence? Might not be the best thing on a podcast.
Yeah.
Up in Hunt Brothers, they sent us some free swag. Thanks, Mark.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of comments on the videos last week, but one of the big ones was Mark hooking us up with some Hunt Brothers gear. I'm gonna rep them up on the podcast. Oh,
Ooh, hey.
I'll save it for next week.
that's for the after podcast. That's
It's the members only.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah,
So,
that was pretty exciting. At the end of the last podcast, we just said if anybody wants to sponsor us, and then Hunt Brothers right? Now they're not necessarily sponsoring us; they just sent us some swag, which is cool. So
We're just repping
Jeff,
them.
you want to tell them what we're going to do next week?
Yeah, so next week we're going to do an ode to pizza because we're all pizza connoisseurs and lovers on this show. And what we want you to do, because we're gonna get into the heated debate like we did with the French fries last week. We're going to talk about who has the best pizza. So obviously, if you're listening to this and you're from the Clarksville area, sure, share some Clarksville specialties, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But to our big, huge national audience, we want to make sure that, and international, just in case the Chinese are listening. Tell us your big brands, like the Papa John's, Domino's, all those folks, Pizza Hut. Tell us who has the best pizza. Maybe we'll do a little pizza debate.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll obviously say Hunt Brothers is the best pizza company. But we'll have a heated debate about the types of pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe New York versus Chicago versus Detroit versus whoever else does pizza.
Yeah, I think we'd love to see everybody's comments. So, whatever opinions you got, pizza places, types of pizza, Chicago style, New York style, whatever. We want to hear it. Be good for.
But don't say Italy, guys. No, this is America, where we invented pizza. Okay,
America
may not have invented it, but we perfected it.
That's right. And we'll probably have a special treat or two in that podcast. So we hope that you will listen and pay attention. Maybe we'll have another guest on next week.
Gaston.
Gaston. So we got Mike Williams with us this week. Mike, thanks for enduring the first 26 minutes of this.
This is great. This is just like old times.
It is.
You're welcome.
So we explained to you guys in episode 1 that myself, Ryan, Grant, and Jeff, we all served together at the same church in Tennessee for a period of time. Well, Mike was on staff there as well, and he was worship leader for one of the services. And then after that, Mike and I actually had the opportunity to plant a church, and we did that together. And we're in a church for about 5.5 years, and then kind of separated ways. And he is worship leader at another church in Clarksville. He's been at a couple. You just keep making the rounds there, don't you?
Yeah. Can't get out of here.
You're a hot commodity.
I don't know if I'd say that, but
Everybody loves you.
I don't know about that.
It was a hot commodity at that church in Clarksville. All of our offices were in this one building, except for Mike's. Mike was in a different building altogether,
right.
And they had this very special piece of equipment in a closet, which I only found out about maybe 2 weeks before my internship ended at that church. And it was an espresso machine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Did I show you that?
I think I discovered it and then asked another guy who you worked with more closely about it.
Yeah.
And the secret was out because they were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I visited that thing every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we have an espresso machine in the youth kitchen?
There was a Keurig toward the end.
Probably, but
there
I'm
was
not sure what
something.
lived in it.
Yeah.
Kids were brewing Dorito dust with Mountain Dew.
Well, and then we had the other Mike, custodian
Yeah.
Mike. He was the one cleaning it, and I'm not sure a lot of cleaning got done.
Yeah. He's still there. Cleaning away. We got some good stories with Mike.
Oh yeah.
So Mike, this Mike, not janitor Mike, but Michael Scott here. Before we really kind of go any further with the conversation with him, we just wanted to let everybody know that he's one of the guys, right? He fits right in. So we wanted to share something with you that we think you will enjoy potentially. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh.
Suspense.
Oh, wait. I forgot where I put it. Never mind. It's right here. Okay. All right.
This is gold.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Frothy Junction. I like that name. There's Mike preaching.
Those fancy apps.
Only a few have it, but everybody wants it. If you gonna get it, then you best turn on your listen and take a crazy ride with me.
Mike, you look so young, clean shaven.
Wow.
Like JC, then you gotta step your game up hastily. No more short sleeve church shirts, please. Gotta get the Jesus swag, rockin' tight jeans. Our Savior wore sandals, yo. So throw out your shoes and
Gosh, your tie was on backwards.
Yeah.
Where
Where did that wig come from?
I don't remember.
That was
that's a
actually
wig.
mine.
What's it?
I have. Don't ask me why I have an assortment of wigs, just for rainy days.
Whose pecs are those? Or biceps are those? Are those yours, Jeff? Wow, nice.
Starbucks.
Did you know if you search Jesus Swagger on YouTube, you still have to scroll down quite a bit to get to this video?
What?
Oh, there's carrots.
Oh my goodness.
It's not a Holman, he's an ESV nerd. You shouldn't have bought 12 cases
I love this line.
of the message remix on sale. Cause what you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside your trunk.
Mike, we had some darker
We
hair
did.
back then.
What happened?
Jeff, your hair's
Oh,
about the
gosh.
same color.
A picture of Ryan out of crystals.
Yeah, that was White Castle.
Oh, White Castle.
Yeah.
The Oak Ridge Boys at White Castle.
He's got that swag. He's got that swag. He's got that Jesus swag.
Those dance moves.
He's got that swag. He's got that swag. He's got that
Inside joke.
Jesus swag. You can't buy your swag in a can. You can only get it by imitating the man. I ain't talking Chaz Bono or Peter Pan. I'm talking about the sun sitting at the right hand. The man who turned that water.
How did you do this, Jeff? Is that Kool-Aid in there?
Maybe.
That's where the swag and the confidence lies.
I prayed really hard.
Or those pretty boy eyes. It's not from his ride or his basketball skills. Not from those late night Call of Duty kills. Jesus swag comes
Still
from
relevant.
Yeah. That was my brother Mark playing Xbox.
Joseph's got it going on. He can witness to a squirrel on
That's
his
Todd
own.
the squirrel.
He's got a touch that you
Is that in
others
your
won't
yard?
get. It's Jesus, man. He's truly legit.
It's not the squirrel that bit it on the transformer, was it?
It might have been the one I killed in my house.
Jesus swagger. He's got that swag. He's got that swag. He's got that Jesus
I love it.
swagger.
So to all my brothers and sisters, now you know where the swag comes from. Now it's time to have a Holy Ghost.
And that's your voice, isn't it?
Yeah,
Get your
that was
swagger
me.
on and bring it.
Yeah.
'Cause we ain't come to worship like a Pharisee today. Can I get an amen? Oh yeah, that's right.
He's got that swag. He's got that swag. He's got
So Chris was wearing his wife's pants.
Yeah.
I think so. We need to forward this to Chris and make sure he remembers.
What I love about this is I know all of your wives, except for you, Ryan. I've not met your wife yet. So I just love thinking, hey, honey, how was your day? What did you do today at the church? And making that was your answer.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You'll never.
My wife
believe
would
it.
not be surprised. So
no.
And the thing is,
And that was one of the
a common
least
occurrence.
weird videos that we filmed.
yeah, I think that was
yeah.
like the most normal video.
Maybe this is just some church jargon, but like all my local pastors here in the Portland metro area, whenever we see each other and we talk about our wives, we'll commonly say, oh yeah, our wives work real jobs. And I think we all know what that means because we get to do stuff like that. That's work.
Well, when your church has some high quality video equipment and a nice recording studio, and you're required to be in your office 8 hours a day, I mean, stuff like that
You
comes
got to
up.
find something to do.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if Mike remembers this. We recorded that song in my basement,
Yeah, I do.
and
Oh,
and,
really?
and Mike actually added some of the cool guitar parts that you hear in the
Yeah,
song.
that was fun.
I remember him like just really sprucing that up, and it sounded really cool. So yeah, that was actually recorded in my
Yeah.
basement.
Nice studio you got.
Well,
Was that the same house that you found the rattlesnake in?
It was. Found the rattlesnake, killed a squirrel.
I thought those were
Yeah,
maracas.
a lot of memories.
so you were there one of the few times it wasn't flooded, Mike,
Yeah,
down there in his basement?
yeah.
Yeah, it's post flood.
Good times.
Good times.
Apparently, and instead of 2 of every animal, when we flooded down there, it was like 2 of every cave cricket decided to be saved because we couldn't get cave crickets out of the basement after that.
They infested down there.
Yeah, it was like we were imposing on their turf, being in our own basement.
Which this is an interesting, totally. Well, I'll just toss it out there. I was reading again. There were 2 of every unclean animal on the ark, right? And there are 7 pairs of every clean animal. I find that really interesting because I used to say women going to the bathroom are like animals going onto the ark. They always go in pairs. But really, women are like unclean animals going into the ark. They go in pairs.
There goes our
So that's
female
the-
listeners.
Yeah.
Your theology's
to
got
all
to
of
be
our
right when
moms.
you're making that joke.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's
So,
more of a
Mike,
diss that way too.
So you do know exactly what you're getting into here when you come on a podcast with this group. You've been
Oh,
around us.
yeah.
You've jumped right
Oh,
in. So tell us, just catch us up a little bit, kind of what you're doing now, and you've got a new album out as well. Talk a little bit about some of that with us.
Yeah, so I'm working at another local church here in Clarksville. Really enjoying it. And last year, I did put out an album. It's called Wanderlust. I don't know exactly what to say about it, but it's just
Where can the people
where
find
can
it?
they find it? You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Music. You can find it on YouTube, actually, in any of those places. And I did have to use the name Michael Scott Williams. I tried using Mike Williams, but there are about 20,000 Mike Williams out there. So I went with my middle name, Michael Scott Williams. Yeah, kind of an acoustic rock sort of endeavor. It was a lot of fun to make. But yeah, check it out.
It's really good, like road trip music.
Yeah.
I think it's got that kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you not using the Michael or the Mike Williams name is good because isn't there some fugitive from the law out there named Mike Williams?
There absolutely
And They
is.
thought you were him.
The
You need to tell that story.
Yeah, I was playing drums in my basement and getting ready to play for a worship set on Sunday. I go down there, put my headphones on. Hadn't played drums in forever, so I was excited. So I'm wailing on them down there. My daughter runs down, and she's like, "Dad, the police are here." And I was like, "What?" And the first thing that popped into my mind was somebody called.
I love that band.
Somebody called. I do too. Somebody called because I've been
Sting
playing
operation.
too loud. But anyways, that was not the case. That was not the case. They got me mixed up with another Mike Williams, who was apparently pretty bad. They had the U.S. Marshals and everybody surrounding my house. Yeah, they had been staking me out, which is crazy. They had been staking our house out
Oh
wow.
my gosh.
from across the road for several days, and still they got the wrong guy, the wrong address.
So what you're telling us is we should have no confidence in the U.S. Marshals or FBI or anything like that.
Well, I don't know. Those particular guys did not. They boogered that one up. So, yeah.
I wonder if it was
I
the
like that
same
phrase.
guy that. So I used to live, and I used to rent a house that was right over next to where when you lived at that house where that happened.
Mhm.
And there was a morning that I was woken up by U.S. Marshals pounding on my door looking for somebody that used to live there.
Yeah.
And
Another Ryan
I wonder if
Williams.
he was. Oh yeah, maybe another mistaken identity.
Just after you, Williams.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny.
It's the
'cause
Williams gang.
The guy that they were looking for, he complete different ethnicity and everything. So it was a complete debacle.
I think they would have caught that on the stakeout.
Yeah,
You would have thought so.
you might
I don't
think.
know. Sometimes you look at Mike and you think he's, Irish, and sometimes you might think he's British, and other times you might think he's Welsh. So
Yeah, that's true.
I understand.
Yeah,
All
you
very
may
vastly
be looking for
different.
one of those.
hmm
So, yeah.
Like Mike, I'm grateful you used your full name on your album because I used to think Mike was short for microphone.
Oh, yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm glad I cleared that up
Yeah.
for you. Michael Scott. But
But also, Mike, was it influenced by your time out here on that mission trip to the Northwest?
the making of it, the writing of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That. And I took a trip out to Montana as well.
Mm.
Yeah. I just I've got to write something about this. This is too cool not to write about. So yeah, you had a part in that, Grant.
You're
I
welcome.
should have
Wow,
put you in
You're welcome,
put you in the credits. Should have put you in the credits.
You mean singular
In-
credit,
in-
Grant Welch.
Next time.
Dedicated
Well, that's
to.
awesome, and it's a great album called Wanderlust, and yeah, you can find them in all those places. So I hope you'll give that a listen. So we thought that since we had Mike on with us this week, that our topic would just be worship songs, worship music, and the good, the bad, the ugly, the role in the church, and just kind of see where the conversation goes from there. Mike, do you have any favorite songs that you like to use?
I really haven't done it as much lately, but I really do like taking some of the older hymns, kind of adding a little bit newer music or different original kind of twist on it, and trying to do some of that. That's probably my favorite genre to do, really. I enjoy that. Trying to think of some new stuff. There's not a ton of new stuff I just absolutely love, I don't think. So
Sounds about
yeah,
right.
how about you guys? Anything that's been sparking your interests lately, worship music wise?
I would just say, and this is not specifically answering your question, Mike, but since we have you on here, I have always said that you're one of my favorite people to lead worship in a service, and I truly mean that. And I think it goes back to your authenticity. It's a very important trait, I think, for the worship leader to have just a genuine spirit about him, and you really do, and I've always appreciated that. And so, when I think about songs, sure, I think there are some songs that naturally kind of jump out as, hey, this is a great song. I love it. I connect with it. But to me, it's more about just the spirit and the environment. And the worship leader is a big part in that. And so if there's a worship leader who is, he's having an attack. If there's a worship leader who just, has an absolute spirit about them that, you can tell this person is genuinely trying to usher people into that presence of the Lord, just that awareness of it. I can almost sing anything.
Yeah.
Obviously you want it to be biblical and theologically correct, but any genre of music, I guess, is what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've always appreciated that about you,
I
Mike.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, first, let me apologize. I couldn't get to the mute button quick enough. I've I'm the same way, Jeff. And I've said that, to my wife and kids that, Steve Miller was great. He's in my top, but Mike, you're there too. And one of the things I always enjoyed about Mike, especially when I was pastor at the church where he was worship leader, and even when we were leading that contemporary service at that church, we would talk during the week on what I was going to preach on. So, Mike, you knew the theme and all that. But I don't think a Sunday went by that during a service where you wouldn't say something that was like verbatim, either in my manuscript or something that would just come out, or a thought I had. And I think that was always due to the fact that you were so prayerfully prepared for worship, that, man, your heart was just in line with what the Lord was going to do and where he was going to lead, that even things you would say before I'd get up, I'd be like, man, I was going to say that. I guess I can't say it now because they're going to think I'm stealing it from Mike. But I love that. I love that because, there was never a doubt that, and you're human. I know there were some Sundays you probably weren't where you needed to be spiritually. That's how we all are. But, you could always tell that you were just spiritually prepared to lead worship. And that definitely what comes through. And people see that. I think when we're in churches, we're talking about worship music and worship leaders, you can tell when someone's not genuine, when they're not authentic, when it's more of a performance than it is joining with the congregation in worship. And I don't know if that ever came across from you. I don't think I ever saw that.
Well,
where you were just performing.
I hope not. And I think it really is a struggle for a lot of musicians, especially if you play other things other than worship music, because generally the purpose of playing shows and all that is you're trying to get, applause and trying to draw attention to yourself. But worship is the exact opposite. You're trying to do all you can to give your best with your playing and your singing, but yet not draw attention to yourself and draw attention to the Lord. And it took me quite a long time. I don't by any means have it perfected, but I think more than anything, it's probably just a mindset of always thinking, is this what I'm about to do? Is it going to draw attention to me and break the flow of worship? Or is it going to help people to connect with Christ as we're singing to him? And you mentioned Steve Moore, and he's the first one to me that I actually had seen in person. And I thought he did such a great job of that. He had his Bible in his back pocket, and on Sunday mornings, and he whipped that thing out and then weave in between songs and, everything. He just did such a great job. It wasn't so much about how good of singers or players we were. It was more about how do we connect better with God in this moment. And that just something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, because you don't get that everywhere. And I'm not like against all the modern, but it just feels like so much right now. One is about us. Seems like so many of the new modern songs talk more about who we are. And it may be true, what God has done in our life and things like that, but not as much about God and who he is, which I think feeds into this is about me. And then I think that feeds a lot into some of even the performance aspect. I don't know. I just feel like in a lot of places, the centrality of making Jesus known and helping his people connect with who he is isn't maybe as much of a priority as it should be.
Yeah. And something I've kind of realized as well is just different congregations have different DNA. They really do. And I think a while back, I kind of thought that it would be possible to just be able to go in somewhere, pick a certain set of songs that are just really good and theologically based, and that it's going to go over well no matter where you go. And to a certain extent, I think that is possible. But also, it's almost like a certain kind of language that we speak. Different styles are kind of a different kind of language. So I think it's okay that people kind of pick different. They lean into their style, whatever that is. The last church I was a part of was a little bit more of that old school Southern gospel kind of flair. And I think I tried to not lean into that too much, but by not recognizing that, I think it kind of, in some ways, hindered maybe being able to minister to them as well as I could. I don't know if that makes sense at all to you, but
Yeah.
so just knowing what the language of the people that you're trying to lead is very helpful.
I totally agree. There was a time, I'm pretty familiar with the language we use in our church. And then I went on a mission trip to Puerto Rico and I couldn't understand anything.
But you know what was
then I
cool
took a class
about
in
that?
Spanish.
You know what was cool about that is I remember having the thought in Puerto Rico and hearing them sing. I have no idea what they're saying, but the passion just coming from those individuals in that church just blew me away. And I mean, you could
I just
tell you're
hope
in
we're
the
singing
presence
about
of the Lord.
Jesus here. This is awesome.
Well, and that was one of my favorite parts because I played with Mike on 2 trips to Puerto Rico, and both those times, probably one of the best things about that was just connecting with people that you don't speak the same language with, but we all had this mutual connection through the music.
Yeah.
And that was such a beautiful thing, to have with them, and a way that, we were able to find a common ground through that. I think that's one of the beauties of worship music and what it can do.
So worship music, when done right and done well with the same heart, is really powerful. And of course, I mean, Scripture commands us to sing, to make joyful noise, play instruments. Sorry to all of our pretty traditional Church of Christ listeners out there. But, we're being obedient when we do that, and God blesses it. But on the other side of that, we can't be all serious here. I think we want to spend some time talking about some of the worship songs that might be out there that shouldn't be, or just some cringy parts of it. Mike, is there anything like that you've come across? And we don't have to put any certain musicians or anything down, but you ever come across songs that you're like, this is just not right?
I don't know that I've come across anything blatantly really bad. I am sure that there's plenty out there. One that's popular that doesn't float my boat. I mean, Reckless Love, it's good. But if you have to explain it so much to make it palatable, I'll just move on and do something different. But, it's not terrible at all, but just.
Well, it's that one word.
It's that one word.
It's just.
Couldn't have found another word.
Well, it's kind of like How He Loves Us, the John Mark McMillan version of the Sloppy Wet Kiss. And
I preferred Open Mouthed myself.
Hadn't heard that version.
That was the Osteen version.
That song in particular is a funny one because when I'm listening to the studio recording of that song of John Mark McMillan singing it, I actually really like that line. But when you're singing it in a worship service, it's kind of distracting and a little off-putting. So it just kind of depends on the context of it, I feel.
I always remember thinking, because that was one that I think when Josh and I were youth pastors together had really picked up and had traction. And there's nothing like singing that line, Sloppy Wet Kiss, and you've got middle school boys giggling, and you got high school boys are like, oh yeah. But then, there was this push by Crowder to change it. There was this push by Crowder, I think it was, to change it to Unforeseen Kiss, and we're like, okay, that's better. But then you think about Unforeseen Kiss. Well, now that's just kind of
out of nowhere,
like sexual harassment.
Yeah, whoa!
Wait a second.
So at CLC, Community Life, that church, when Mike was leading, we did that one day in the service, and and that night we had a picnic that evening, and there was a new family that had joined us that morning, and then they came to the picnic that night for the church, and we were sitting around, and there were some band people. I remember Bethany Patterson was there. I don't remember, Mike, if you were sitting there or not, but some people that were in the band. And we got into this debate jokingly if we were Sloppy Wet Kiss people. or not? And then I remember a couple weeks later, I was talking to this new family. They kept coming. They're like, we didn't know what to think about you guys talking about sloppy wet kissing, and because they didn't know the background of the song, but they stuck around, so I'll give them that.
That's good.
The other weird thing about sloppy wet kisses is when I think of a sloppy wet kiss, I'm thinking of like my dog sneaking up and kissing me on the face. Like,
Yeah.
It's not really the way I think about a kiss with anyone that I love, especially like a romantic type kiss.
I was.
I don't know. I firmly believe in speaking in tongues if you're married.
So I was.
It's one of the best
I
things.
was
out
at
there.
a church a long time
Lucky.
ago, and I was not the worship leader at all. I was just part of the church, and they had a guy come up, allowed him to sing "Unanswered Prayers" by Garth Brooks.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's theologically sound.
yeah,
all right.
yeah. So that makes me think. You guys were talking about sacred cows. You know, what about the sacred cow of special music?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, that reminds me of your brother and the story of him singing. What's the song that he did a couple times? No, it wasn't your brother. It was who's the guy that he would play with us on electric? Really good.
Jared?
He played at CLC
Jared?
a lot. Jared.
Oh yeah.
And he tells this story about oh man, I'm gonna have to think of the song now. I'll have to look it up. Do you know what I'm talking about? That he sang it a couple times at his little country church as a special music, and it was like some 70s hippie rock song.
Jesus
Oh,
is a friend of mine.
Inagata Devita.
Yes. No. Wait, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna have to look this up and see what it is. Do you remember him
I don't
telling that
know.
story?
I don't know. I don't think so. Did they just really get into it?
Well, it has spiritual type of lyrics to it, and oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Okay, well, hopefully I can finish this out so it's funny and makes sense. But
The one that always gets me, and you guys know I'm a literalist, right? So the one that always trips me up is indescribable. Because the first word of the chorus is indescribable. And if that were true, the song would stop there. Because then he describes him for the rest of the chorus. So he could have done one of two things. He's describable, he's uncontainable, or he's indescribable, la 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 la, or toss some O's in there like some modern lazy writing. Oh.
What about songs with too many laws? Because I feel like we overuse the law sometimes. Just too many laws.
And the O.
That's
Yes.
still a thing.
Oh, how he loves us so. Oh.
Yeah. Now, not
This is
enough
lazy
of the,
songwriting.
and I know, Mike, you can do this, but like the Eddie Vedder, like, yeah, you know, not enough of
Yeah.
those.
You got to
Prove it.
yeah. You got to be in the moment. You gotta,
Hey, did Jeremy speak in class today? But okay, now I will praise modern worship music for a second, because one of the jokes frequently about modern worship music is like that tweet, like, this is a joke about modern worship music. This is a joke about modern worship music. Key change. This is a joke about modern worship music, right? So the joke is it's repetitive, it's lazy songwriting, lots of O's and la's. Okay, I was listening to America, the classic rock American band, both Horse with No Name and Ventura Highway. Those songs have only 2 chords in them. That's it. And they got 2 songs out of the same 2 chords. That's come on.
One of the first
And
songs I
then-
learned how to play on guitar.
Yeah, because it's 2 chords.
Yeah, it's easy.
So, and then this morning I'm in the shower. I'm listening to some like indie, whatever, modern playlist, not Christian music, but a song came on. It's just the same 2 words. The chorus is the same 2 words over and over and over. So I'll roast modern worship music, but come on, that's modern music. It's terrible.
That's like
So one song that I've always, and maybe it's more recent that I've thought this as I've listened to the words, is the song "Your Love Is Extravagant," and I think it's because just sort of the way the song feels, because at the very beginning it's the line, "Your love is extravagant, your friendship," and then there's a lot of different versions of it, but it says "your friendship," and then there's that is intimate. And I'm like, wait a second, I mean, this just took a turn here. And then it goes into, "I feel like moving to the rhythm of your grace, your fragrance is intoxicating in our secret place, your love is extravagant."
Hey, how
I'm
you
like,
doing?
what is that talking about there? and then the song "In the Secret," which was one that we used to sing like when I was a
In the
youth.
secret.
That reminds me of that, "In the secret, in your quiet in the quiet place, in the secret, in the quiet hour, I wait only for you because I want to know you more."
It sometimes
know,
makes
it's
you
just
think, did they
odd.
originally write these songs not about God and then just like change a few keywords
Yeah.
to
Well, that's what it
make it
sounds
fit?
like, because the chorus of "In the Secret," it's like, "I want to know you more, I want to hear your voice, I want to know you more, I want to touch you, I want to see your face, I want to know you." I mean, this sounds like things that you would say to your girlfriend in middle school,
Yeah.
or
Well,
write
and
in like a
songs
little
like
love note.
that. I mean, I'm just shooting from the hip here. I don't think that "In the Secret" mentions the name of Jesus or God. I don't think there's like a reference to that. And isn't Oceans like that as well? That you can sing this whole song and it really could be sung to, a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you just don't know. Like, and that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, if we're singing a song, let's have the name of who we're singing to in it. Just so people know who's being addressed.
Yeah.
I wrote down "What a Beautiful Name." Now, I actually like the song, but there's a phrase in that song that I struggle every time I sing it. What a beautiful name it is. And the phrase says, "You didn't want heaven without us, so Jesus, you sent heaven down." And I'm like, how crappy is heaven if we improve it? That the whole reason, whole reason for Jesus's mission was like, oh, it just really needs you guys. Y'all would complete it. And, he loves us and we are destined for it. And he did bring heaven to us, through his Spirit. Heaven is here on earth through that. But I've heard somebody that will sing, "We couldn't have heaven without you. So Jesus, you brought heaven down," which I like a lot better. But we do this song at our church every now and then, and I'll sing it, but I'll get to that phrase and I just kind of can't say it. "You didn't want heaven without
Where you
us."
cross your arms and you're like,
And I'll just stare at the worship leader.
If it said you didn't need heaven without us, that would be even worse, I think. But once, not.
Yeah.
So just
he
out of
brought heaven
curiosity,
down.
Mike,
Yeah.
have you ever had, since we're talking about songs with weird lyrics, have you ever had somebody come up to you after a service and not approve of a song?
Yes, I have.
Any interesting stories
only
there?
one time that I can think of, actually.
Oh.
And he wanted to go get coffee so we could talk about it. So we did. And I think it might have been "What a Beautiful Name" that we talked about. Actually, I can't remember. But I actually thanked him for actually listening. And, because some people just go and sing whatever. But he actually was paying attention to the words. So.
Well, at least it sounds like he was pretty nice
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
and wanted to have a real conversation
Yeah.
rather than you just getting like a dirty note,
Yeah.
like on the pulpit or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
That's good.
In the tithe.
An
Worship
offering
leader,
plate.
stop singing sloppy wet kisses.
Which honestly, that's one of the reasons, Mike, your job is so much harder in a lot of regards as a worship leader than it is to be a lead pastor. Because like my worship person, people will complain to me about them.
Yeah.
So I'm actually proud that person went to you themselves.
Yeah. I'm sure I've probably received many, many other complaints. That I guess my pastors have just been good about not relaying them to me. I don't know.
Sure. Like Francis Chan is one of my favorite guys, authors, speakers. Because my life, like he's one of the people that my life looks different after I, read or hear about him. And one of his he spoke at a pastor's conference here in Portland, talking about when people complained to him about worship when he stepped down as lead pastor of his first big church. And his response was always, "Oh, that's fine. We weren't singing to you." Because I think that's a forgotten part about. I mean, because you deal with preferences every week. People are saying, "I like that song. I don't like that song." Well, we're trying to sing about and to somebody else who's not wearing Levi's. Okay,
Yeah,
relax.
yeah. Can't please everybody, but you can make sure all your songs are about the right thing. Try to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, at least our worship music isn't as cringy as some other like older Christian songs. Because we were texting about one last night. I'm not going to repeat the name of it on here, but
Politically correct.
you know, we you know, I think we changed it to Two Hunks and a Cool Bro.
Yeah.
So just look up DC Talk and put 2H and an N in Google, and you're going to find a song that DC Talk actually had on their album. That was definitely awkward and not PC at all.
can-
And then
Find the
You
video
guys
of
all
them
remember
singing to Arsenio.
oh yeah,
It's really awkward.
and then you guys remember the Newsboys singing the song Breakfast,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it might have their whole song was that, you know, there's not going to be breakfast in hell. So, you know, like
Really?
that's a
So
jab
enjoy it now,
to
you sinners.
non-Christians. Like, hey, you're not going to get your Captain Crunch in hell, bro. Like,
Oh my gosh.
what are we doing?
Or the Chris Rice song, the cartoon song.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that one.
I don't think I know that one.
But Jesus
I don't
is a
know
friend
why.
of mine.
Oh.
That is a classic. If you haven't listened to that, you need to stop this right now, because we probably need to stop it ourselves
After we're
for
done.
an hour, and go look that up. And if your bass player at your church doesn't play bass the way the guy does in that song, you need to find a new church.
Or the new life is the key, or what it was. The new life is the key to the Christ in me.
The
renewed
renewed life
life.
is the
Yeah,
key
that one.
to the power that we
Yeah.
need.
Is that the
That's
dancers?
Yes.
The people
Uh,
dancing?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Jackson
That's a
moves.
good one,
Yeah.
Oh man.
That guy
He
had some
did.
moves. I don't know.
Wonder if that was
I was
special music.
surprised.
Affirmative.
Definitely special.
It's debatable if it's music.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming
Oh,
on, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's great chatting
Yeah.
with you.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. And we'll make sure to write some notes to your church anonymously complaining about your worship.
I'd love it.
just to
Yeah,
keep
just
you
let us
humble.
know what your sets are. So.
Keep me on my toes. Love it.
Yeah. Hey, and if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, make sure again that you like and subscribe and comment about whatever you want to comment about. It ain't have to have anything to do with the podcast.
Yeah.
Just help us get the algorithm up. And
Affirmative.
that's right. Hey, is somebody else hitting those?
No, I'm not hitting them.
Oh, so I thought I was the only one that had access to it.
I just discovered I had access to it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Great.
gosh.
I'm jealous. I don't.
Hey, Grant.
High five.
All right.
Getting wild with them.
So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week when we love on some pizza.
Oh yeah.
See you later.
Peace out.